I have mentioned Chrystul Kizer many, many times here. I offer her as a good example of someone who's claiming self-defense for a murder charge in Kenosha, Wisconsin, was released on bail, just like Kyle. In fact, her bail was a lot less. She is claiming self-defense. Guess what? She might have a case. In a past video, I even gave out information on how to donate to her defense fund. I think it'd be great if people would be able to contribute to her defense fund so that she can be better represented in court. But I'm not here to talk about that today. I want to read this article about her case. It says here, Chrystul Kizer, teen charged with killing sexual abuser, is released on bond. Hello out there. I'm trying to get through.
With his powerful brainwaves cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnnie Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnnie Walker Dread Show.
Okay, so Ms. Kizer was charged with premeditated murder. Premeditated, planned, in the 2018 death of Randall Volar. Her case attracted widespread attention, and the Chicago bail fund paid $400,000 for her release on Monday. Now, wait a minute. She didn't pay her own bail? I thought there was something wrong with that. I thought that was a horrible thing, that they don't have any investment in their own release. That means they're flight risk. They should not be bailed out. And the people who bailed out Kyle Rittenhouse, oh, they're evil. They're bailing out a murderer. Well, she's been accused of murder as well. And yet people were able to collect the money together to get her bailed out. Good, I'm glad. There's nothing wrong with that. Surprising how the same people who complain about bail, we shouldn't have bail, got to get rid of cash bail, but when it comes to Kyle Rittenhouse, it's like, they need to keep him in there, they need to lock him up, they should never let him out. But let's go ahead and read on, because that's really not the issue I'm talking about here today. Okay, that is Chrystul Kizer during a hearing in the Kenosha County Courthouse, same courthouse as Kyle. Chrystul Kizer, a 19-year-old who was charged in the 2018 killing of a man who prosecutors said sexually abused her, was released from a Wisconsin jail on Monday after a bail fund in Chicago paid her $400,000 bond. Ms. Kizer was 17 when she shot Randall Volar, 34, in Kenosha, Wisconsin on June 5, 2018. She has been awaiting trial for 2 years, and her case has received widespread attention from supporters and activists who say she acted in self-defense and was a victim of sex trafficking. I think she was. Did she act in self-defense? That remains to be seen. But it gets better. It was incredible to see that we were able to bond Chrystul out, said Santera Matthews, an organizer with the Chrystul Kizer Defense Committee, which has been working with other organizations to raise awareness about the case. And I have no problem with them. Good, I'm glad that they did this. Nice work. People believe that she is a survivor and that she was punished for surviving, Ms. Matthews said, adding that the case is an example of the ways the criminal justice system has failed to protect black women and girls. Now keep in mind, they probably don't believe that Kyle Rittenhouse is a survivor of the attacks that he endured on that night in Kenosha, but okay. Ms. Kizer, who is black, first met Mr. Volar, who was white. It's amazing how they have to mention that. When she was 16. On the night of the killing, Ms. Kizer traveled to Mr. Volar's home in an Uber that he paid for and spent several hours there before shooting him, according to Kenosha News, a local outlet which cited statements made in court. She then set a fire in the home and left in his vehicle, the outlet reported. Now here's an interesting thing. Okay? She shot him With what? She's 17. A handgun. Minors can't possess handguns. That's actually a serious problem there. I mean, that's actually a serious crime. I mean, there's some debate about whether Kyle Rittenhouse was allowed to have that rifle. It's a long gun, but she's using a handgun. And she went to his home. Wait a minute. Did she belong there? Did she insert herself into a dangerous situation? Aren't those the arguments used by the anti-Kyles about Kyle? He carried a gun into a dangerous situation. So did she. Now, keep in mind, I am not anti-Chrystul. She very well may have acted in self-defense. And if so, I hope she's found not guilty. I'm not on here going, Chrystul's a black supremacist who was looking for trouble, inserted herself into a dangerous situation where the outcome was inevitable. Okay, so let's go ahead and read on. Oh, I just also mentioned here, she set fire to the home, probably to hide evidence. That's another crime. That's actually a very serious crime. Not only arson, but it's also an attempt to destroy evidence. And left in his vehicle, so she stole his car. It turns out that she then texted her brother that she had the car for him. So now they're thinking that this was all part of a plan for her to steal the car for Mr. Volar, and that she created this rape / sexual abuse thing after the fact. I don't know. I should dive into this case a lot more thoroughly because it's actually pretty fascinating itself. At the time of his death, Mr. Volar had been under police investigation for possession of child pornography and sex trafficking. And the people come together and you see, what a horrible person he is. The person that she shot, he's a filthy child pornographer and sex trafficker. And then when you say, well, Joseph Rosenbaum was a child rapist, you can't use a person's past against them. It doesn't matter. Even the most vile of all felons are entitled to life and liberty. But then in this case here, it's like, he's a child pornographer, sex trafficker. When she left the jail on Monday, Ms. Kizer carried bags full of letters of support that people had mailed to her. The very same people who are probably on Twitter now talking about how Kyle Rittenhouse is a white supremacist who needs to go to jail forever for what he did. But Chrystul, we're on your side, Chrystul. We hope that you get your day in court. And the people calling you a murderer, they don't understand. Innocent until proven guilty. And then on Twitter, that no good Kyle Rittenhouse. He's a filthy white supremacist, Ku Klux Klan, BLM killer. Ms. Grace said that the organization was able to steer funds towards Ms. Kizer's case after it was flooded with donations over the past several weeks, which she attributed to increased activism after the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Tony McDade, and others during encounters with the police. You know damn well that those same people are on Twitter now, totally thrashing on Kyle Rittenhouse. They don't have any ideas about innocent until proven guilty. No, not in them, unless it's talking about Chrystul. Then all of a sudden, the rules change. Ms. Kizer still faces charges of arson and premeditated homicide, which could carry a sentence of life in prison. Her defense lawyers did not respond to a request for comment on Tuesday. Her supporters have called for prosecutors to drop the charges altogether. They don't even want her charged for anything. But you know how they talk about Kyle. You know it. Anybody who thinks otherwise, they're naive. Michael Gravely, the Kenosha County District Attorney, said he did not dispute that Mr. Volar had committed felony sex crimes against Ms. Kizer. Mr. Volar had been under investigation for sex crimes and was arrested in February 2018, but was released shortly after. So he wasn't convicted. Innocent until proven guilty. Is that how that works? Mr. Gravely argued that the killing should be prosecuted as a premeditated murder, based partly on text messages and social media posts from Ms. Kizer. Court documents show that Ms. Kizer made a Facebook post on June 8th in which she appeared to display a pistol and said that she was not afraid to kill again. Boy, you can imagine what would have happened if Kyle had done that. Can you imagine the mayhem? The calls for basic executions. They wouldn't even want him tried and thrown in prison. They would have wanted him hung right there if he had done something like that. Mr. Gravely acknowledged the widespread attention the case had received and said that it should be up to a jury to weigh all of the facts. Permitting vigilante justice, which is the narrative from some seeking dismissal, is a highly subjective, slippery slope. A jury may be best to decide guilt or innocence in these circumstances, and a judge can then decide the punishment, if any. The judge and jury will always have more complete facts than what's available on the internet. Ms. Kizer could not be reached for comment on Tuesday. In an interview with the Washington Post last year, she said she had met Mr. Volar after she posted on Backpage.com, a website that has been accused in various jurisdictions of enabling sex trafficking. Ms. Kizer said that her relationship with Mr. Volar involved sexual abuse, money, and gifts, and that he had also made money by arranging for her to meet up with other men in hotels. He was a grown-up, and I wasn't, she said, so I listened. Now, she was 16 at the time, but this carried over into 17. And a lot of people say, well, Kyle Rittenhouse was 17, that's old enough to know better. But then they turn around for Chrystul. She was so young. He took advantage of her youth. See, this is how it goes. She added that she had been pinned to the floor by Mr. Volar shortly before shooting him. I didn't intentionally try to do this, she said. And okay, that's a good claim. And I'm willing for the police to investigate that claim, bring that to the court, and if the jury decides, you know what, this was self-defense, you know what I'm going to say? She's innocent. That's what I'm going to say. But keep in mind, the people after Kyle are not willing to be that forgiving. Any of his claims are just moot. Nah, didn't happen. The fact that Rosenbaum was chasing him, no, Kyle was the primary aggressor in their minds. When Kyle is running from the mob is only doing the right thing. Kyle should not have done that. He should have stayed there and let himself get pummeled. She also said, I didn't intentionally try to do this, which I'm not sure what she's referring to, but if she meant I didn't intentionally try to shoot him, that might not be a really good thing to say. So I'll let the lawyers work that out. Ms. Kizer's case echoed that of Centoya Brown, a trafficking victim who served 15 years of a life sentence for killing a man who had picked her up when she was a teenager. Ms. Brown, now 32, was granted clemency in January 2019 and was released from the Tennessee prison in August. Notice they don't say that her case echoes that of Kyle Rittenhouse, who was the same age, same town, same court, same charges almost, although hers are a little more serious. The Chicago Community Bond Fund said that when Ms. Kizer's case was over, the majority of the returned bond money would be steered to a national bail fund for survivors of domestic and sexual violence. By the way, Kyle is from Illinois. She's not. If you go to the Chicago Community Bond Fund's mission statement, they say that the organization was founded to support people of Illinois in their trials. They supported her. Totally denied Kyle. Bias. Ugly thing. Her case deepens the current calls for justice and the need to keep fighting to transform our society. Those are all lofty goals, and I have no problems with it. It's just the hypocrisy, the whole thing. She had an illegal gun, no doubt about that. And the very same people who were hammering Kyle for having an illegal rifle, a misdemeanor. I have no problem with her using a pistol to shoot Randall Volar. These claims of, if you are committing a crime, you can't claim self-defense. That's what they use on Kyle. He was carrying a rifle. That's a crime. He can't claim self-defense. Well, what about Chrystul? Yeah, that's different. That was different. He was a sex attacker, a sex abuser. And the same ones who claim Kyle shouldn't have been there. He inserted himself into a dangerous situation. Don't have any problem with her going to Randall Volar's house. So I want to repeat, for the record, she may very well have acted in self-defense. Hopefully, for her sake, the evidence points to that. If she is found not guilty, I'll be the first on here to say, congratulations, Chrystul. You were found not guilty. You are innocent. I want you to walk out with your head high and be free. And I hope nobody tries to take out any sort of retribution against her, because that is just plain sick. We have a court system for a reason. But you know how the people with Kyle are going to be. When he's found not guilty, and I am almost certain he will be found not guilty, there's going to be tons of people out there trying to drum up some sort of hits on him. Now, most of that won't be real. In fact, maybe none of it will be real, but they'll want to do it. They'll wish somebody would. They don't care if he's found innocent. In their mind, he's guilty regardless. Because why? Well, he had that rifle, and that's breaking the law. And if you're breaking the law, you can't claim self-defense. And he inserted himself in that situation. He shouldn't have been there. Like my video and subscribe to my channel.